together to study under Rabbi. When the Mishnah says lamata, when the Mishnah says below the arkuva, it's kosher if it's cut. That's lamata min arkuva. That's below the arkuva. When it says lamaila, it's kosher. It's not kosher if it's cut. That's lamaila min arkuva. That's above the arkuva. Be'iz arkuva amru. Which arkuva are we talking about? Barkuva anim kersim maresh, with the lowest part. That if you actually look at the animal, it looks like it's the knee, but it's actually the ankle. That's the way you explained it, right?
Yeah.
Because
the foot is
the
actually
foot
standing
goes up, so that ankle is above the ankle. So you can actually feel like there's tendons over there by the ankle on my animal. Ula Amar Abaishia. Ula says a little different. Kenegdai begamal nikar. It's a different arkuva that we're talking about. You see, on the camel. Can I show everyone this picture?
Why are we discussing a camel?
Well, let me go back to this. On a cow, the stomach hangs down further. So that upper joint is not as visible.
It's covered.
It's covered.
By the stomach.
On the camel, it's exposed because the camel has this higher body that protrudes out. It's more lean. So Ula says in the name of Rabbi that that's the arkuva that we're talking about. Above that, it's treif, but below that, if it's cut, it's kosher. It's a different joint. That's in the femur. That would be an issue. Machlokes. Amalei Ula Rabbi Yehuda. Ula goes and tells Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda was the first opinion that says the lower one, the middle. Let's call it the middle one, and Ula held the higher one. It says Bishlam Elididi. According to me, it works out well. Damina connected begamel nikar. I say that it's talking about the upper one, which is visible on a camel. Hainu diktani. That's what it says. V'chein shenitel tzumas agidin. If the upper bone is cut, or if the tzumas agidin, which is slightly lower, is cut, so it's a treifa. Ela l'didach, but according to you, my v'chein shenitel tzumas agidin, it's exactly the same location. The middle bone and the tzumas agidin is the same thing. Nechtachu means that it was cut all the way through. So if you want to say that only partially cut is treif, so don't start off saying if it's entirely cut through or if it's only partially cut, it's treif. Say if it's even only partially cut, it's treif. And I would know automatically if it's totally cut, it's treif.
So generally when we do shchita, we check. That's what we're supposed to check.
Well, actually, there's a lot of things that are treif that we don't check for because it's usually doesn't happen. But the tzumas agidin on the chickens, I think they check for. I don't know on the large animals. I know on the chickens they check. Rechuva, amalei, rekuva b'lei tzumas agidin, the tzumas agidin b'lei rekuva. He responds to him, no, it's either or. Either the bone is cut or the tendons.
So you could have one without the other.
One without the other. So he responds back, v'hanechtechu katani. But that's not what it says. It says they were cut. This is talking about both of them. You're amending the Mishnah. Doesn't say that. Ishtik, he's quiet. Rabbi Yehuda's quiet. Labasa denafik, after he left, Amar, he says, my time I could have told him. Could have told him a different shot. Could have said that lamata means below the arkuva, it's kosher. And what does it mean lamaila? It's cut. If the tzumas agidin are cut, then that's a problem. But what about if it's cut above the tzumas agidin on the bone? Maybe that's kosher. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no, that's also not kosher. I could have answered him that it's a different location. Hadar Amar, but then he went back. Rabbi Yehuda says, did I not already tell him something? And he responded that it means they were cut, which is referring to both, not just the bone. I wouldn't have gotten away with it, so it's good I didn't say anything. Hachanami min arkuva l'mayla katani. It has to be talking about the bone and above. So he didn't have an answer for Ula. Rav Papa masni hachi. Rav Papa learned it the following. Rav Yehuda, Am Rav, Am Rab Chia. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, in the name of Rab Chia. Lamata is Lamata min Arkuva, Umitzumas Agidin. He throws in a phrase. What does it mean? Right now it's insignificant. We'll see in a minute, it's very significant. If it's cut below the lower joint and below where the tendons converge, that's kosher. Lamaila, when it's cut above where it's a treifa, that's lamaila min arkuva mitzuma sagidin. That's above the joint and above the tzuma sagidin. And he adds in v'chein shenitl tzuma sagidin, and if the tzuma sagidin themselves are cut. So he actually has it in the way that Rabbi Yehuda would have liked to respond to Ula, which now he doesn't have a question really. Because what's Lamaila? What is it when he says above? He doesn't mean above the joint. It means above the Tzuma Sagidin. Over there, if the bone is cut, then it's treif. Or the Tzuma Sagidin in the middle themselves are cut even without the bone. That's also treif. And that works out Kida Ula Amar Rabbi. That would work according to Ula in the name of Rabbi. Because the bone being cut is not in the center, according to Ula. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the bone in the center, the tibia, makes a treif, and according to Ula, the femur makes a treif. That's higher up. The Gemara says, "Umiyik midi." Is there such a thing? Dilumidli pasikle v'chaya. That if you go lower, if you go higher, midly, like hanging. If you go higher up on it and you cut, it's going to live. Mitati pasikle umesa. But if you cut lower down, like more of the extremity, if you go further out of the body, it's going to die. Ravashi says, Treifus kamadamis la'adadi. You're comparing treifus. You see, the question here is that if you cut the tzuma sagidin themselves, it's going to die. Mm-hmm. If you cut the bone above the tzuma sagidin, it's not a problem until you go to the upper bone. Mm-hmm. So how does that work? Ravashi says you can't compare treifus. You can't compare treifus one to another. You cut it from here and it's going to die. You cut it here, it's going to live. Okay. This next phrase in Gemara is very interesting. It says ve'elo ein tzuma sagidin. I always translated ve'elo as these are. Rashi clearly says elo means where. Now, in elo matzia shalai, these are the lost objects that you can keep. I saw in his dictionary, this Uriel Frank, that he says Elu doesn't mean these. It means which. And then you read the whole Mishnah differently. Which mitzias, which lost objects can you find?
He says which over here.
Oh, so here. So isn't that great? That the word, I mean, everyone that learns this, it's not in here, it's only in his dictionary. Okay. Rashi says, Elu over here means Heichen. Heichen, yeah, this is a question. Where are the Tzuma Sagidin? What are they? Rabba Amar Ravashi, it's edited here. An earlier Ravashi, or it's Ravasi. Because Ravashi is much later. See, you can't have Ravashis down here. Rabba's up here. Rabba can't say in the name of Ravashi. So they said, the one comment on the side says, oh, it's an earlier Ravashi. The other comment says that it's Ravasi. And Ravasi was over here, and that, I guess, traveled. So, he says, the Agmara Ulabar. Okay. The Agarma Ulabar. What this means is that the tendons attach to the bone. So this is from off the bone. That's where it is. Rabbi bar Rav Huna Amar Ravasi. Rabbi bar Rav Huna says the name of Ravasi. The Agmar Lagav. What's attached to the bone. That's where the Tzuma Sagidin are. Rabbi Breder the Rabbi bar Rav Huna Amar Ravasi. The Eily Arkuma. What's on the arkum is usually the knee, I think. What's attached to the knee. the knee or ankle. But actually, that actual bone. You have a picture? Anyone have a picture here?
Three places.
You have a picture, no?
So tiny, this one.
Yeah.
You can't.
Let me
you
do
can't
this one.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So most of you.
Okay.
Wow, that's great.
So
That's amazing.
here, this is the arcum. Okay, it's that the little thing is sticking out. So that's that area. That was the last opinion. This is adjacent to the bone. That's lower down. Or off the bone is when it's up there, because there's a little area in between the bone and because it's not as fleshy there. It gets more in the tendon. So that's not attached to the bone. That's the way they're explaining it. Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt you before, but when you said tendons, ligaments, you were unsure. I think tendon is always muscle going to bone, and ligament is bone to bone. I was just going through them in my mind. All the ligaments I know is just a bone
To a bone.
connecting to a bone.
So this is a tendon.
We're
This
all
is a tendon.
talking about tendons here.
Okay.
Doctor?
Shikaya.
Mr. Koch, doctor.
Tendons.
Yosef Ahumer Rabbanan Kamei de Rababa. There was a student that was sitting in front of Rababa. Yosef Kamar Darkuma Gufa. And he said that it's the. How are we translating Arkham? Do they have the translation? The Arkham itself. Lovely. The Arkham. That's what they translate. The Arkham. Which is that little bone in the joint. Amalei Rababa says, Leitzitzisulei, don't listen to him. Hachi Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, Heichad de Priya Tabche. It's where the butcher cuts. Now, there's different interpretations in Rashi what this means. Some say it's where he begins to skin the animal, or it's where he actually cuts through with the joint. So which means that it's lower down. V'hainu de Rava Breder Rav Huna bar Rav Huna Amar Ravasi, and that's what Rav Huna Breder Rava says in the name of Ravasi, that we said before was above the arcum, not the arcum itself.
By the way, the arcum, which is a talus in English, if you just think of your foot, and again the tibia comes down, you're just past the ankle, before the heel, you're hitting a bone, and then the metatarsus are the long ones that then go into your toes. That first bone you hit, that's the talus. So that's the arcum. It's like where the first joint is, mamish, and obviously that's where you can break it easiest. Break off the foot. So
Interesting.
Not the ankle?
It's below the ankle.
It is the ankle. It depends where you want. The ankle is where the tibia and fibula coming down, and then they have to land on something. They land on the talus. The talus lands on the heel, the calcaneus. And then coming out of it is you have some bones, and then the metatarsuses, which were long in the cow, but on the foot go out, and then the toes.
Shikayach. Am Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Shmuel, Tzuma Segidin Shamru. I am sorry. We should stop here. Okay.
Look at these guys. This is.
Oh, that's